So what you're seeing and hearing here is a pretty simple feedback loop with this EQ that I just picked up at a used music store. It's $20, not bad. It's an old 3630 compressor by Alesis. Got it at a flea market a long time ago. I don't remember how much, but not much. Had to get a power supply for it, of course, because Alesis is weird about that. Yeah, be very wary of Alesis power supplies. Anyways, as you can see, we have a left and a right channel. We have a GEQ. We've got a very nice spread here. You know, it's still plus or minus 12 dB, like a lot of GEQs, but it has a lot more distance to go up and down than say like that one over there. You know, like the rack here, which is great for, you know, obviously for like live sound. It's shaping something with like a traditional PA, even though we don't really use that too much anymore. But here, this thing, it's the Soundshaper 110 Mark II. It was most definitely just for tape decks. I find that these are great equalizers to use. You can see it's got an interesting, it's got some of the normal frequencies that you like to see: 16 kilohertz, 8, 4, 2, 1, half a K, quarter, an eighth, and then we've got 62 and 31, like these extra frequencies on the low end. Now, you know, you can kind of tap them and get a little bit of a different change. But mostly, right now, I've just been not changing anything. So a lot of the clipping and clicking and stuff is coming from the compressor. And you can see here, for both of them right now, I have the ratio all the way up. I've got the attack at 50 milliseconds, and I've got the release also at 50 milliseconds. So let's start with the release. Let's bring that down and see what happens. As you might expect. Oh, there's one other thing that's cool about the 3630 is that it has a gate. As some of you know, it is. So that sound is the gate. That harsh. You can see it clipping on and off right there. Now, you might be wondering why, once the gate closes, does it open again? Since this is a feedback signal, and you know, if the gate closes, there should be no more signal coming through. And I'm sure if you turn the rate up a significant amount, maybe the next time, or actually, I think the rate here is the attack. So maybe that doesn't change. But if you bring the threshold up, change the rate. Yeah, it is the attack. And I find for like drum sounds, 100 milliseconds is pretty good. You know, you can sample this kind of thing and just use those little clips. And as we discussed earlier with feedback, as you constrain the signal, it gets higher pitched. So we can loosen it up either with the ratio, going down or back up. Sorry about my camera setup. It's testing me. And we all like that high pitched noise. Let's bring it back down. This kind of thing I really like. So obviously the threshold will also bring the pitch up and down. Now let's just see, now you see this kind of feedback with all that low, that's a lot of energy. The gate's not going to trigger. You have to take out the low. Or maybe it's just not going to trigger at all. Let's just listen to this side for a second. Now, obviously, I'm recording these in left and right, but I'm going to sum it to mono at the end so you don't have to deal with that. Now, this is interesting. You hear it stopped acting up when we took this out. This thing is not totally clean, and there's some interplay, which is kind of what makes it nice. Now, the other thing I like is getting a gentle amount of compression. And there's some interesting shapes I've found with the EQ, where you can have it like kind of scan between that sweet spot. You hear it? We'll turn this one off again. Right there. We're between high and low, and so it helps to take out the low mids usually to achieve that sound right there. And once again, we'll turn this off. So now, yeah. There's a bit of randomness in there. There's obviously a lot of dirt in this thing. This is what it's like without the compressor, by the way. Lovely, lovely sound, lovely sound. And then there's that one. Both lovely in their own way. We'll bring it back, compressor on. See, I don't have to do anything. Okay, you can come in. Now, I don't necessarily think it's just like dirt or whatever in here, but it doesn't hurt to get some old gear that's really filthy, because it'll add a little bit of variation that you can't always get. Yeah, some people might frown on that philosophy, but what do they know? Let's bring this back in the mix. We're going to bring the threshold up. Oh, we got the same note. Fun to try to guess what's going to happen. Yeah, so what should I do next? We can go back to fast attack and release. It kind of stabilizes the note a bit. The kind of smoothness of the arc here is what really changes it. Okay, speaking of which, we've got hard knee on right now, so we'll go to soft knee, hard knee. So do a soft knee. You can also do RMS, where it will pick the speeds for you using the real mean. But I like to use peak so that I can adjust it here. Yeah, higher ratio will get you into those bird sounds, obviously. Let's do it over here. We'll take off the gate completely. Release, slow attack makes fast attack. You can basically just get a tone. The threshold, turn it down now. But we like a little bit of a slow attack. Honestly, if we could get a slower attack than 200 milliseconds, we'd be really cooking. And then, of course, turning up the output will... Alright, so that's pretty much it. That's how you can use these two very simple things to make a lot of different sounds. Pretty cool. Alright, thank you for watching. Take care. See you next time.